Michael, let's start with the obvious, shall we? I mean, you're sitting in a multi-million-dollar mansion with a strained family, a wrecked psyche, and a friend group that, let's just say, isn't what I'd call heavenly. And yet here you are, clinging to the same patterns that got you here. It's like you're running full speed toward the edge of a cliff and expecting not to fall off. Now, I know you've seen a lot, done a lot. Most of it, well, less than saintly. I'm not even going to start on the bank jobs, the shootouts, or your less than healthy obsession with lying to everyone in your life. But Michael, if we're going to turn things around, the first thing you've got to realize is that you're not just some anti-hero in a crime drama. You're a human being. Your choices, every single one of them, they ripple. And that family of yours, they're drowning in those ripples, Mike. Let's take Amanda for a second. She's tried to escape you more times than I can count. That yoga, those affairs, all those shopping sprees, they're all just desperate attempts to find peace in a life where peace doesn't seem possible. But here's the kicker. You're not the villain in her story, even though you think you are. You could be the hero if you wanted to be. Ever thought of asking her about her day instead of flipping out about the guy she's practicing downward dog with? Look, I understand you've got trust issues, but maybe the key to unlocking the door to happiness isn't smashing it in with your fist, you know. And your kids, Michael, let's be honest, Jimmy's practically a carbon copy of you. How do you think that happened? The kid idolizes you, but he's also terrified of becoming you. Every time you lie to him, every time you lose your temper, he learns that it's okay to do the same. Do you want him to end up like you? Stuck in an endless cycle of regret, booze, and backstabbing? I know you've got it in you to be a better father, but you've got to start by showing him something worth imitating. And no, I'm not talking about another luxury car. It's easy to think that just because you've been through the ringer, betrayed by friends, failed by society, you're somehow excused from trying anymore. But let me give you a divine reality check. It doesn't work that way. Everyone gets hit with hard times. But the real test, it's in how you choose to respond. You keep choosing to lash out, make deals with the devil, literally, in Trevor's case, and run away from your problems. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. I believe Einstein had something to say about that. Smart guy, by the way. Michael, the problem isn't just that you're breaking laws. Laws can be bent. They can be redefined. No, the real issue is that you're breaking yourself. Every time you justify doing something shady, it eats away at the good that's still inside you. You've convinced yourself that you're a bad guy trying to do some good things. But let's flip that for a second. What if you're actually a good guy who's just made a series of really, really bad decisions? There's a difference, and that difference means you still have a shot at redemption. But to get there, you've got to be willing to make some changes. First, you need to start by being honest with yourself. You keep telling yourself you're doing this for your family, protecting them by pushing everyone away. But let's face it, Michael, you're just scared of letting them down. Here's the thing, though. They've already been let down. What's left is the opportunity to fix it. And you can't fix it by pretending everything's fine while you burn down the house from the inside out. You've got to let go of the need to control everything. You can't dictate the future, but you can shape it. One good decision at a time. And let's not forget about Franklin. You know he looks up to you, right? Sure, he's street smart, ambitious, all that. But he's still searching for a role model. What are you showing him? that it's okay to cut corners, that betrayal is just part of the game. You've got a chance here to guide him away from that path. He's like you were, young and full of potential, but at a crossroads. Lead him in the right direction, Mike. Show him that there's more to life than just cash and chaos. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Change never is. But I am saying it's possible. You've still got time. Not much, but enough to make things right. It starts with recognizing the pattern. Every decision you've made up until now has been reactionary, responding to your past, your failures, your fears. It's time to break that cycle. It's time to think about your future, your family's future, in a way that's about building, not destroying. And Michael, don't think I haven't noticed how often you laugh off the very idea of goodness. That cynical chuckle you give when people suggest you might actually have a moral compass. Here's a fun fact for you. The idea of goodness, it's not some abstract pie-in-the-sky concept. It's real, and it's achievable, but only if you stop seeing it as a weakness. You think kindness makes you soft. Trust me, Mike. It takes more strength to be kind in the face of your enemies than it does to pull the trigger on them. Anyone can shoot, rob, lie. It's easy. But to forgive, to love even when it's hard, that's where real strength lies. You've got to stop pretending like you're okay with being the anti-hero in your own life story. Because if we're being real, you're miserable. I can see it in every sigh, every complaint, every glance at that empty bottle. The good news is, you don't have to stay this way. The bad news is the choice to change. It's all on you. I'm not going to swoop down and do it for you. That's not how this works. You're going to have to roll up those designer sleeves and get to work on yourself, on your relationships, on your future. Michael, can we talk about your family for a minute? I mean, it's not like you haven't noticed that things aren't exactly running smoothly on the home front. And I get it. You've got a lot going on. But the way I see it, family isn't something you just shrug off because the going gets tough. Family is supposed to be the foundation, not the excuse for your bad behavior. Take Amanda, for instance. She's been screaming for attention in every way possible. And what do? You tune it out like background noise. I'm not saying she's a saint. Let's be honest, some of her choices have been questionable at best. But that doesn't mean you get to throw in the towel. The truth is, Michael, a marriage isn't a one-and-done deal. You can't just say, I do, and then expect everything to run on autopilot for the next 30 years. Relationships require work. And no, hiring a hitman isn't the kind of work I'm talking about. Look, I know you love her. Deep down, buried under all that sarcasm and anger, there's still love there. But love is more than just a feeling, Mike. It's a decision, a commitment, and a whole lot of patience. You want Amanda to respect you again, to stop running around behind your back. Start by giving her a reason to. Trust me, it's hard for someone to cheat on a person who's genuinely present, caring, and invested in the relationship. I'm not saying you have to become some perfect halo-wearing saint, no offense. But you do need to show up. And by that, I don't mean just physically, I mean emotionally. Be vulnerable, listen to her, and stop assuming that every disagreement is a war you need to win. And Jimmy, oh Jimmy, Michael, you've got to face it. The kid is crying out for your attention in ways that make me question his sanity and yours. He's confused, lost, and frankly not the brightest bulb in the box. But that's okay. He doesn't need to be perfect. He needs to know you care about him beyond whether he's succeeding or failing. I know you've tried in your own way, but every time you belittle him or make him feel like he's not living up to your impossible standards, you're pushing him further away. You can't keep treating him like a disappointment just because he doesn't fit into the mold you thought your son should fit into. He's not you, Michael. And maybe that's a good thing. The more you try to turn him into a mini Michael, the more he's going to rebel. Show him that he's enough just as he is. Let him mess up, let him fail, and then be there to help him pick up the pieces without making him feel like a failure. You'd be amazed at how much kids respond when they know they're loved unconditionally. Try it sometime. Just don't blame me when he starts asking for rides to Comic-Con. And Tracy, let's not forget about her. Michael, I know you've noticed she's not exactly the picture of emotional stability right now. But come on, man. What did you expect? You've been more concerned about her dating life than her actual well-being. Look, it's normal for a father to want to protect his daughter. But there's a difference between being protective and being controlling. The more you try to dictate her choices, the more she's going to push back. Here's a tip. Instead of playing the overbearing dad card, why not try the "I'm here if you need me" approach? It's less stressful, and honestly, it works a lot better in the long run. She's going to make mistakes. That's part of growing up. But the more you show her that you trust her to figure things out, the more likely she'll come to you when things go wrong. And trust me, they will. That's just life. You've been there. You know how this goes. But you've got to let her make those mistakes while knowing you've got her back. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for more slammed doors and angry text messages. So what's it going to be, Michael? Keep spiraling down this dark road, or start the climb back toward the light? I'll be here either way, but wouldn't it be better if you stopped running and started listening for once?